Good afternoon, everybody. Happy April. The year is moving on quickly. I know we have about a month, actually less than a month, for you to prepare for some of our spring concerts. So I hope everybody is staying on top of things. We're really honored today to have with us the members of the Calidore String Quartet through our thanks to the Philadelphia Chamber Music Society. And they are performing here in Philadelphia this weekend. We know that one of the members, who we're waiting for him still, right? He'll be here soon, is actually, has contact with some of our students here on a regular basis. And some of you have joined them in their winter workshops at the University of Delaware. So, but we're happy that they're performing here in Philadelphia for the Chamber Music Society, and through their gracious sharing them with us, we're able to run a chamber music master class today. And this is our final master class of the year. Next week will be an extended rehearsal day, and then we have a break weekend, and then student recital hour. So this is a great way to finalize our master class series for the year. Our first performers today are coached by J Freivogel. It is quartet playing the Beethoven String Quartet, Opus 18, number 4. The first movement is Allegro tanto, and they are represented and played by Noelle Streuber-Eden, Mikaela Kovach, Tang, and Isabelle Morales. Right?
Wish your sound was on.
Okay, good. It cut out before when the microphone.
The capture's on.
It's always on delay. Okay, great. Thanks.
Make sure the sound is good.
Bravo, guys. Really, really well prepared. How long have you known this? Or maybe each other? Because everything is great. How often do you rehearse? Once a week. So, you feel pretty comfortable, but it's not brand new. Okay. Everything is very good, but I wonder if we can get it even a little bit tighter and enhance the character even a little bit more. If you had to put one character at the very beginning that has some type of human emotional content, first thing comes to mind. Mysterious. Agreed. Anybody else? Frustrated. Yes, yes. There's something not entirely positive. Right. Anything else? We can do that. Do you have one? Fiery and fiery. Okay. Mysterious, frustrated, fire. I think we can work with this. You had to put fiery into technical terms for the bow. What kind of contact do you think that would be? Would it be close to the fingerboard or close to the bridge? Like, what do you think could make music frustrating in terms of how we play? Comfortable. So there's a bit of an edginess to it. Okay, I agree with that. I think the impression I get from the audience, and sorry, forgive my bluntness. So at the starting point, you guys are all amazing. Okay, so now we can really sink our teeth into it. I feel that the lower threes, sometimes you guys are a little bit passive in waiting for Noelle to initiate ideas. I think we can really take command from the bottom up. So especially the tempo, the energy, and the character, actually I think we can derive from the lower three. Can we actually just hear the lower three? I'm getting so always bearing in mind the dynamic itself doesn't necessarily influence the kind of sound that we produce. Okay? So let's do an example once and let's pretend that Beethoven wrote forte at the beginning. So forte, but for the moment let's forget mysterious, although I think we'll get that back in when it's piano. So let's think fiery and frustrated and forte. And just the lower. So I for the most part, I actually really like what you do. Can I also get the character from how you cue it, and can you all cue it together? So maybe you initiate the cue, but everybody lead and follow each other at the same time. Trick the audience. Nobody should be able to tell who started the cue. That's fine. It takes practice. So give a cue that has dramatic intent and like scare each other a little bit. Like hold this like fiery energy. Something sharper. Everybody do it together. Don't wait. Stay close to the bridge on the on the eighth notes, I think we can especially stay close to the bridge to get the bite. This is Germanic music, which is like the German. Does anybody here speak German at all? Have you heard German? Would you describe German as a consonant language or a not consonant language? Very consonant, yeah. Consonants is everywhere, and yeah, accents in the language. And I think that really truly relates to how we need to speak through our instruments as well. I think that consonance primarily comes from contact point and playing closer to the bridge. And there may be moments here and there where you can make a character justification. Oh, this is a reprieve from all of this fire and brimstone and chaotic characters. Then maybe here and there, but always have a reason for not playing close to the bridge in Beethoven. Otherwise, set your default as bare minimum halfway between the fingerboard and the bridge or closer to the bridge. Okay. One more time from the very beginning. And for everybody in the room, notice that when they really led and followed truly together, it was perfectly together on the first try that they really committed to putting that. So when you're cueing at any point, whether it's the beginning of a movement or a reset within a movement, that should just, if anything's ever not together, that should be the first thing you discuss in rehearsal. And it very often cleans itself up. So one more time, lower three, and then we'll add the first time. So now, the last time with lower three, so now is the hard part. So now we're going to make piano again, but can we keep the sound quality? So it's like we're taking this, now we have like the really high octane energy we have to drive, now we're putting in a bottle. So imagine, have you ever been to a drama production where you see stage actors? Yeah. Have you seen somebody do a stage whisper? So we won't demonstrate what it sounds like. It's really hard, right? Yeah. It's like they're screaming at the top of their lungs, but they're talking like this. Because otherwise nobody's going to hear it, right? And I think it's important to consider that with how we play our instruments as well, that playing quietly does and needs to feel even more difficult. Playing forte is easy. You just let the bow do its work, you move it fast, play close to the bridge, play physically free. But I think a lot of times we see a piano and we get scared of it. So now with piano, but with all of the characters, still close to the bridge, and as much energy as possible. Good, I like that. Okay, let's add everybody now. So now that they're giving all of this drive that we had some of before, but maybe now you can let them do the work and just kind of ride the wave. Closer to that breaking point threshold, but all the more reason to practice like this all the time. Because if you're not really used to playing this way in the practice room, you'll get timid on stage and play safe, but then the tone of your instruments and the overtones are going to make it as far because the contact point is in that safer range.
Can I just say that?
Please.
So this is kind of the highest point thus far, right, in the movement. You're thinking very well about the fronts of the notes of these chords, dum, dum, dum. But articulation kind of has three parts, right? There's the start of the note, the front of the note, the middle of the note, and the end, the release of the note. And I think that's often the most neglected part. So actually, the character of the chords can be enhanced even more if you think about the drama with which you release the note. Right now, you slow down your arm, the motion of your arm at the end of the note. You go doom, dong. Can you actually think about making kind of like a circle in the air that has quite a bit of speed? Yum, like that. And then you hear the end of the note kind of elevate upwards. You want to try right on this? Yeah, can I borrow your violin? So that you really feel with the back of your arm, kind of like a circle like this, and you have to pull with a lot more energy. Are you sleeping today? I know, it's raining outside and everything, but can you imagine you just did your coffee? Okay, imagine you just had that double shot frappuccino, whatever. Okay? Enjoy it. I just had coffee, so. Actually, all three chin players can stand up and play this. Let it all out.
Give this part member, okay?
Imagine something that makes you really frustrated. A younger sibling, whatever. Good. Excellent. Okay, already it's going in the right direction. So this is something everybody can practice. Practice your part standing up and sitting down. It's really, really important because when we stand up, we automatically get that weight and nice relationship to the instrument that has a richer sound. When we sit down, we want to try to get the same sound. So we have the goal now of what we're aiming for, and we have to kind of demand that that same, so it has to do with like the posture, how we sit. We have to sit up very tall, but at the same time, kind of the lower half of our body grounded into the chair, just the same way we naturally do when we stand. Can you not let your instruments go down when you sit? Can you almost feel like the violin, the viola, it rises into the bow? One last time. Excellent. That was so much better. Really, really amazing. Now this part. I really need to feel like you two are responsive to the down position. She's like the instigator and you fall right up. Move your just the band there. You can sit down. Bless you, reverse it. Excellent. I think that's really, really great. Penny, I especially like your articulation in general and the kind of energy you bring. And I think, Mikaela, I think we just have to up like the energy level just a little bit to meet Penny where she is, and then I think it's gonna really, really zing together very, very well. And Isabelle, I really like the kind of initiation you give to that thing. Very, very, very nice. Okay, we can go on. You can work on that in your rehearsal.
Just really quick, regarding dynamics in Beethoven, don't be afraid of the dynamic piano. So Beethoven generally, not 100% of the time, 95% of the time lets the loudest stay in. And the quietest? Same, but the opposite, pianissimo, right? So he writes pianissimo and fortissimo in really important places, whether it has to do with structure or a really cool harmony. It's not just play as loud as possible here. It's there's something really cool going on. Let's make a big deal out of it. And also in the opposite of pianissimo. So what does that mean? So we want to make sure that the difference between piano and pianissimo is substantial, and also between forte and fortissimo is substantial. So in piano, if you just for piano, get the sound. Use the sound that you get for free with the weight of your bow. Don't feel like you have to raise anything out. So for me, that would be piano. Still a good contact point, unless the character you think is fragile, wispy, delicate, scared. Things that might influence that. But so if it was pianissimo, now we start removing ingredients. Not all the ingredients, there's no sound left, but you can use less bow. If the character suggests, you can shade your contact points differently more. So this is piano for me, and then the louder dynamics are easy. You just start adding more ingredients, add more bow so you go closer to the bridge. And then double forte pretty much give everything. But I think usually the default, and we have to remind ourselves this in rehearsals constantly. If we see piano, we get a little bit scared of it, and the sound quality suffers when it doesn't happen. But why don't we go on?
If you want to, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that we were kind of thrown off in this bar. I don't know if you have our numbers. Oh, okay, so you do have a good score. I don't hear this. We're going from one of our highest dynamics back to piano. This bar 16, 17, 20. I don't hear that at all right now. We're going from a very extreme dynamic to something else, so we really need to figure that. We go from the
Very good. As I play the second violin part, my ear is like especially attuned to that. I think from the second you have the pickup, you switch from all the different roles that you've played thus far in this movement, and now you are the prima donna, okay? And you, your posture looks a little bit too kind of inward right now. I think even if you just think about holding your scroll up and really embrace the limelight. Okay, and try to draw like physically attention to yourself. Your sound will already kind of take up more presence for the listener. Can you try standing up playing your solo? That's literally what it has to feel like. It's like, now it's my turn. Okay, just a couple bars before that. Excellent. Bravo. It's really gorgeous how you play it. And I got so much more information about your expression with this quality of sound. This is the minimum. You could even play a little more. But that's exactly right. Okay. That's for everybody. I mean, first violin, it's mainly the setting that they have in their role that they play. But for the other three, you often have to change very quickly, right? From playing harmony or rhythm to having a solo, even if it's just for a few notes. You have to kind of be able to assert yourself that way when it's needed. Go to the bridge, sit up straight, yeah. Okay, go on.
Yeah, this bar that we just got to, it seems like you all can tell the future. Because the piano it happens before it's marked. So really commit yourselves to that crescendo that happens before that. And then if it needs time over the bar line, then we need to take it. But don't give the piano away so soon.
We actually jump into one other spot. I'm just really curious if we're on some of it. A little bit before the first unison. Before that unison. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. And okay, so right when you get to the pianissimo, remember that leading and following concept. Do that for every single entrance and every single note. So as much as you can play it entirely by memory, you can play a weird note or whatever. Don't even worry about that right now. We're in a safe spot. Just really focus on the ensemble and everybody lead it proactively. Now let's just see what happens. It's an experiment. So coming from a group who's rehearsed this part a lot, that was really together, right? Yeah. And how much rehearsal is it? This amount. 0 rehearsal, right? So it's a mentality thing, and playing at a really, really high level in chamber music takes a lot of mental stamina and fortitude and focus. Really what changed was that you guys were like as close to 100% focused on each other and the collective as humanly possible. And I think when you ran through it, it was good, but you were all a little in your own zone. And what happens in those instances is the highest and shortest strings speak faster than the long and thick strings. It's not a right, wrong, left or right or anything like that. It's just physics, right? So especially the lower two have to be really, really proactive about like almost thinking ahead. At the same time, you guys just have to be a little patient your instruments react a little faster. But in any case, just that cross-group focus basically came perfectly together right off the bat, which is awesome.
I think we have to stop soon, but I just wanted to say that this is incredibly well prepared. And since you've done all that preparation, you sort of have to flip the switch and pretend that you don't know what's coming up. So in listening to you guys play this, it felt very comfortable and it seemed like everything was planned out. I would like you guys, because you guys play so well together and you're all technically excellent players, I think the joy about playing chamber music with other people is that you never quite know what's going to happen at any given moment. It's always going to be different. There's no way to replicate unless you're recording and you play the recording again. That's the only way to get it to sound the same. I think you guys can challenge yourselves to surprise each other, even from the very opening of this, that you don't know what's happening. Those sorts should catch yourselves off guard. Any of those moments. What I really like when you guys hit the fortissimo chords is that it felt like you were really in the moment. Jump, jump, jump. And then when Noelle comes in with her, like screaming moment on those last chords, that's her reaction to those chords. It felt like it was all happening in the present. Like we didn't know what was going to happen next. So I would explore that even further because you're such great players. But fantastic job.
And moving right along here, and we thank the quartet. Thank you guys. Two more. So our next group is piano trio consisting of Daniel Chi, Aaron Liu, and Ian Lin. They're coached by Charles Parker Jr. and Mr. Parker. And they have two pieces to offer today. Of course, the Maurice Ravel piano trio M67 Modere, and the piano trio Pale Yellow by Jennifer Higdon, who many of you know is a Philadelphia composer. So trio, let's go for it.
If it's for a competition,
Really wonderful, really beautiful playing. You're really well prepared for this competition. Speaking of this competition that's coming up, I was trying to listen kind of with the viewpoint that you are presenting this as a program, and I'm trying to put myself in the seat of a jury member listening to all of this. When you get the opportunity to select pieces, it's really important to understand what it is you're trying to showcase. Sometimes you can boil it down to one thing for each piece, but you want to show, you want to exhibit distinction between the two pieces. Right now, it's so wonderfully done, and you're so well prepared, and you've obviously had wonderful coachings on this. I wonder if you could actually take elements from each piece and actually transfer it into the other. So, what I'm talking about. In this, in the Ravel, my comments are generally just pacing things and pulse. In the Ravel, I felt it's marked Modere, so not too fast, not too slow, but I longed for there to be a little more like swing and pulse. It sometimes felt a little bit too, a little bit stuck. Even just this opening, I know you're taking some freedom, but I wonder if you would maybe consider allowing us as listeners to kind of get acquainted with. So not everybody will have heard this piece before, but you kind of want to set the whole scene for everybody. Because you take some rubato here and there, I get really confused about the pulse, and we need something to latch onto. So it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, right? That's generally the mold. As soon as you start to take some time here and there, we lose that. We want to be able to hear 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2. At least maybe just to set the scene for the first few bars. Can you start?
You want me to play like more steady?
Yeah, just a little. Wonderful. And sorry, there's some. I'm the pedal police, so that will always be my tendency. Is that I don't know whether it's how it was the teachers I had growing up, but I know he marks pedal here. Is there a way to maybe just use slightly less so that it still sounds a little bit like bells? And then my next comment is the time you often take to end phrases. It's very beautiful, but I get used to it. And it's very similar each time you try to end the phrase. And the problem with that is that you take some time, you kind of have to get the rhythmic energy back again each time you restart, so even in your next, so what if you don't take any time? Can we go from when everybody's playing, and just finish very simply, and just continue through. Just from the fifth part. Really want to. I personally, that's for my own taste. I prefer that just because a lot of flow, and that we're not stopping to smell too many flowers along the way. That we lose our way. Again, these are all just like tiny details that I want to mention. It's just because it sounded really great, and a lot of it is just personal taste. This anime peu à peu. I mean, we all do it. We see anime, we see like go forward, and we're like, let's go, let's take the exit, let's go. But it's delivered in terms of peu à peu, little by little, and it's over nearly two, almost three bars. And I actually think it's going to be even more exciting if you control the anime, if you control that genre. It'll be more exciting that way. I would also really like more clarity right here at number 2, this fortissimo. Can I just hear your Can I just see? I'm not a pianist, so. If you actually start even less, so bigger shot, yep, and just like hold back, all the way only to the yamba, the return of the. Not too short on the yom bom. Can we put everybody right there? Actually, go from the anime. Actually, before you, Aaron, can I just hear your 16th, the tremolo or the 32nd? Yeah, any of these entrances, I know you're doing very good job. You see mezzo piano, okay, just start mezzo piano. But with the volume of the piano, I'm never going to hear that. So mezzo piano, but articulation fortissimo, which means not so high up in the bow, maybe in the middle of the bow, and then make your way as you get louder towards the frog. And that goes for you as well. Yeah, let's go from the anime. Wonderful. That for me was like extremely exciting. One thing, can you try for me? Again, whatever I say, just throw out what you don't like as soon as you leave this room. From this fortissimo, yum pi da ti da dum pi. Then you go yum pi da ti da dum pa, yum pi da da. And then it's ascended. Très peu a little bit, slow down a little bit. So you're slowing down a lot, and approximately 2 bars before it's even marked. Can you maintain the yum be da dee da dee yum, really grand, really exciting, full, expansive yum be, then pull the brakes ever so slightly. A lot of this is just like, what I'm gonna say is just like dialing here and there, this is a little more, this is a little less, so that as a whole, cohesively, it makes a little more sense. Because, like, I think Ravel was a very good composer. He knew what he was, he knew what he was doing when he was writing these instructions. But there's so many instructions that we have to like take a second and really make sure we're doing what's in there.
And can I just tag on to what you're saying? And I think what Estelle is saying, yes, there's small things, but they're making a big difference. Because even from the beginning, when you first went through and you were taking quite a bit of time in each bar, you set up certain expectations. So even in how you play the first bar of the entire piece, you take time between the first and second movements, and that expectation has been set, and it's met almost every time that we have this theme. So if we really kind of have the expectation of it being in time, and then if there are special circumstances where you do want to take time, that'll make much more of an impact going forward.
Can I just add one other general kind of listening thing that you can maybe put on all the music that you're playing? There's a distinct difference in the timbre inherent to both of your instruments and maybe also to you as players. Do you know what the difference is in terms of like the type of sound that you kind of intrinsically want to make on an instrument most naturally between the two players? Who is more direct sound? Yes. And yours is more warm, and it can do with your instruments and also with your approach. I think, especially when you have similar material, you kind of have to meet a little bit more in the middle if you want to have this. If you're intending to have the same expression, so that means that your contact point, once you get, if you tend to be direct, if you are even the midway point between the bridge and the fingerboard, that's probably too far from the bridge in order to match the directness that his cello gives him pretty easily. And vice versa. If you want it to be warm and kind of more rounded inside, you have to manufacture it a little bit more.
Right on the foot as well? That's 2, yeah.
And then one other thing with the string players is that in the more melodic and long line material, I need you to think about connections between notes a little bit more. That means, am I legato between the bow change? Am I vibrating the change between the notes, even if it's a short and when I'm shifting, is there audible glissando between the shifting notes, or does it need to be clean? There's a lot of very exposed, kind of pristine, quiet playing in this, and like a shift that's a little bit too heavy kind of mars the phrase a little bit. So be very sensitive to that, almost like Mozart, some of the passages.
And so now we're actually getting to right after this final to say at number 4. Plus non qu'au début. I felt that in the run through, this was quite slow. And so when you got to 5, you were actually slightly faster than you were at 4. So again, it's these tiny little details, but that suddenly you add them up, 1 + 2 + 3 + 7, and then it's like, oh, there's actually a total. It all makes sense because that's why it's written that way. So if there's a little more flow right at 4, just like a memory, but that keeps going forward. Wait, can we go from 3?
It's very beautiful. And I think a lot of the things that you guys are working on are really successful and very apparent. I mean, very clear. These long notes, they're kind of uncomfortable, right, in a way. And it's because the amount of bow speed that we're allowed to have, right? Can you feel when you're playing these sustained notes atop the melody in the piano that actually you engage with your core a little bit? Like, and then while you're playing, have this feeling that you have constantly are trying to spin the sound out all the way through the note in both the left hand and the right hand. You know, have you ever seen like a microscope up close what the bow hair looks like? Do you know what it looks like? It looks like it has these little teeth all the way. If you have new bow hair, if you have old bow hair, there's no more teeth. But like millions of them all the way up. And sometimes when I have to sustain notes like this for a long time, like the second movement of Schubert Quintet, I try to imagine that each of those little teeth are kind of combing along as I go down bow or up bow. So you kind of feel this vibrancy in your hand. You almost feel the vibrations of the string into your right hand. And it creates this sound that is a little bit more aloft and it doesn't fall flat on the floor. Or it doesn't sound static. Actually, there's a lot of life in these notes.
Yes. little bit than he did, but a lot of these comments will apply itself to the rest of the movement. But something like the très, how are you bringing out the très expressive there?
I guess this is one.
What are you doing with the vibrato exactly?
I think it does.
Okay, yeah. Because right now, these are the moments, this is the beauty of the cello and having to figure out balance and how do you rip the spotlight into your own face. In a situation like that, you really have to grab us with the most gorgeous sound in the world that we have no other choice but to zero in on your sound. Imagine that every single time you have those kinds of moments, they're sprinkled throughout this whole entire piece. But très expressive, I mean that's pretty strong wording. Extremely expressive. So right there, can we just play by yourself once? Can the expression stops, then you have to like get the energy again. Just because there's a space in the sound doesn't mean the expression stops.
And maybe with the right hand, can you be more risky and creative with your bow speed choice?
Can you connect even more here? See if I can demonstrate at least once. So this is what you're doing, and then I'll exaggerate. I know there's a little breath there, but imagine you're revealing just the most intimate secret you've ever told anybody. You keep the left hand going even in the space. Yes. Yeah. And then without, it says en retenant, the opposite of what you're doing, so not speeding forward. Relish in the light in the spotlight. Yeah, all the way to the end of that. One last time. Yeah, that's it. Great. Maybe just right at 7. Let's do a few bars and then we'll jump to the big one. That was wonderful, yeah. And actually what I liked, which you instinctively did, which is en retenant, just do a little more of that, and then au mouvement, forward, a little more of that. So we get that push, and then it's really obvious to us, like, whoa, we lean back, and then, oh, okay, now we're back, and then, whoa, we lean right, then we go forward. Can we jump to the Higdon now?
Just one tiny little note that if I was on the jury at the very beginning of this, I would just have a little bit of an issue with the strings, playing too differently, specifically on the 8th note with the dot on it. So if anything, you guys have a bit of a tendency, and then, is it Ian? Yes, Ian, can you actually just play your, you hear the resonance carries all the way through, so I think you'll have to meet in the middle slightly, but what I hear a little bit with you guys occasionally that I don't want to is the sound of the bow stopping on the string, which would be like Ian lifting the pedal and lifting his hand out of the piano, which is probably realistic. Interestingly, what brought my attention to it is when the articulation changes where you just were. Da 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 bum ba. Those are under a slur with a dot. I really loved what you did there. So I think if you just imagine that the bow doesn't stop at the very opening, you articulate it, but the right hand keeps moving, I think that'll probably take care of it.
If you've played this piece probably for quite some time now, I think it'd be helpful to prepare for the competition to go to Ravel's measurement markings, just to check that you're relatively close. Even then, for a reason.
Okay, Ethan. What does piacere mean? Yes, as you please, yeah. So tell me, what are you trying to evoke character emotion in this, generally in this piece? Oh, okay. What?
Got it.
I feel like very serene.
Okay, yeah. So maybe like an emotional, I mean, serene is, yeah, that's great.
Yellow, right? So I feel like it's sort of a serene color, sort of, I guess you could say almost, it feels like nature. It was written for today, so I associate it with nature.
Okay, yeah. Kind of like landscape, everlasting kind of feeling. So, I felt as you played it, I actually felt kind of like I'm on the edge of my seat, because there was kind of this drive throughout it. And I was kind of trying to clock out 60, because that's kind of the recommendation, right? As you please, 60 to the quarter. And it was never, you certainly never played too slow. I think you can have a lot more flexibility in the tempo, actually, in the pulse. Even from this very opening, I like the idea you said serene. Can you use that concept and feel like you're always playing, almost always playing on the back side of the beat? So that you're never on like the front side, you never leave it this way. Just on that thing. Even the first two, it's a half note, right? Can you even physically, visually, stay in that half note. That is like. Even in this figure, and you're sort of doing it already, can it feel like, like it's not so easy. You're being very deliberate. Each one gets a little consonant on it. Like you really enjoy it. It sounds simple. Sometimes it just feels like you want to get over it. Da 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 da. Oh yes, but just enjoy. Maybe write just the measure 9, 10, 11.
In comparison, maybe maybe it's a two-way street on that, but I'm getting like 60% more cello than violin, and I want them moving once. You might also, to the best of your ability, weight your arm towards the top notes that you want the D, but the other notes.
You can play around with how much you grow in these hairpins, right?
And that's the thing throughout. When you have the double stop, weight your arm.
Have you just round 13?
It's really nice the shape you're making. That's you can. Yeah. It's very beautiful your sound. I like the release that you're doing, but even when I'm sitting here, and you're going to Fischoff, yeah, the hall's going to be even bigger. When you release, I lose the quality of your sound. So, can you think about still having that shape that you have, where it's lean and release, but still pull through the release a little bit more, and then it also helps us to feel all the way through the line.
And I think just one general comment, another violinist. I would be careful not to hold too much tension in your jaw. I feel that we lose quite a bit of contact, this kind of natural harmony, because we're a little bit tight in our jaw and our shoulders are up a little bit, so we don't quite get gravity playing with our right hand, which will also help with the balance.
Think about, instead of holding the violin with your chin, think about you're holding it with your hand. And this is inactive unless you shift down.
Actually, no, sorry, 18.
Can you do that one more time? And what does it mean to you if I say your sound needs more friction? You know, under your ear, did you hear a little bit of the sound of the hair grinding against the string? We will not hear it here. I won't even hear it if I'm saying 2 feet away from you. But if you hear it under your ear, that means that every note you're playing is projecting. When you go to the middle registers, this is always the case for balance. You will get more loss. Like D and A string, it's no man's land for projection. You have to really, really try to pull even more friction through the one more time.
5%.
Okay. At 18?
I love the tone you guys get here. Going a little bit back to what Ryan was just saying, even in this very simple figure, right after 27, 20, after the Fermata. As lyrical as you can make that, even that everything is like a gesture, is like a human gesture. And then, okay, I wanted to jump to where it starts to get a little more dense in terms of the rhythm. Can we go right at maybe 43? Is that okay? Great. I have a question. What are you trying to go for in terms of emotion, character? I love that. Right now, what's coming across is a little aggressive. It's because you're accenting everything. Da da da. If you just think maybe a little more expansive with the bow. I think we'll hear the intervallic relationships a little better, and it will feel like more open, more sunny, more light that way.
Or Copeland.
Yeah. I think we have to stop now.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Please join me once again in thanking the members of the Calidore Quartet for being with us. You may hear and see them tomorrow afternoon at the Perlman Theater at the Kimmel Center. They'll be performing, and we hope some of you will join them at that point. There's still some room. Okay, there's still some room. And we want to try to get you guys in a whole little photo op here. And we do have to get to another rehearsal.